March's edition of Engine Room Chat with Saul from Narrablow Laura, Glenn from Narrowboat Teal, actually a boat owner again, and Jeff. What's your boat called again, Jeff?
Credit Limit.
Credit Limit, that's it. And I'm Dave from Narrowboat Changing Pace. Welcome everybody. If you've got any comments or any questions, please feel free to drop them in comments. We'll do our best to answer them as they come up. But to start with, we'll go to Saul because he's in my top right hand corner. What have you been up to, Saul?
Well, I had an issue with my oil cooler for the gearbox. I had a leak. You know, I was talking about last time about checking fluids and everything like that. Well, I found the problem. It was a leak on that. So I took the whole thing to bits, cleaned it all up, put it all back together again, and it works beautifully for about 2 days, and then I have to take it all to bits again. So I think I need a new boot for it. So the one end of it's a really tight fit, to be honest. But I looked at getting a new oil cooler, like 180 quid. So I'm going to have to ring up Calcott Boats and see if they've got them spare boots or whether I'll have to buy the new thing or not. So that was.
Where's the engine cooler sit?
What's that?
Where's the engine cooler? Where's the oil cooler sit? Where's that in?
So I've got you've got the expansion tank on the top.
Yeah.
You've got your rocker box expansion tank, and then over the other side, just below it, that's where the oil cooler for the gearbox sits. I had no idea it was there, to be honest. I was just looking at this thing. I thought, I don't really know what it does. And then I thought, geez, it's for that. So, it was just leaking. It was dripping oil out, and I wasn't getting any hot water. And I can get if I do a good run, I can get hot water. But the next time I'll not get hot water, and I get a little dribbling bilge. So I've got to get that sorted. But it took me 4 hours to mop out the bilge.
Water or oil?
Water. 15 litres of the stuff.
15 litres. What did you do it with?
I ended up doing it with a mop and bucket.
Did you?
Yeah, because I looked at, I had the bilge pump in and it was just pumping out. That was a nightmare. That pumped it everywhere. Because I forgot to put it outside. So just filling bilge back up. Oh God, no! Jeez. So, but I give up on that because then I thought, well, if there is a bit of oil, I don't want it going in canal. So, I've mopped it out. There wasn't any, but I poured it in edge row. So it was because there was no coolant in it because I'd lost all that last time.
Right. So it's just water.
Just straight water, yeah. So I've given it a good clean out and what have you. That's got to be sorted out this month. I'm gonna ring Calcutta Boats and find out if they supply them. If not, I'm gonna have to bite a bullet and get a new one.
Have you tried Sol? Have you tried ASAP supplies?
I haven't as yet. I had a look online, but I only had a quick, it was a quick look.
They do a lot of stuff. I've bought stuff from them before.
Yeah,
so for our BMC.
Yeah, I will have a look at that. And then I've started on the bed, the new bed for our bedroom. We're moving it from a inline bed to a cross bed because I'm fed up having to climb out of bed in the morning at 5 o'clock. It's ridiculous. So I've started, but I'm using an Ottoman bed, so I can lift it up and put it down again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So
I've started on that, and I've also did a bit of a spring clean. It sort of got me going for a spring clean, So I've washed outside it, boat, and started cutting it and polishing it up. So she's looking a bit cleaner and smarter at the minute. So, yeah.
Made your roof box?
Yeah, I did the roof box last month. Yeah, I've got to put. Do you know where I can get some of that plastic coated canvas? What I want to do is, what you have on trailers.
Yeah, Jeff got his made, didn't you?
Yeah. What a nightmare that was.
Well, yeah, he had a bespoke made, didn't you? For you.
Made with the name of the boat on the top. Given the measurements, it come 2 inches too short. So then they did the levers. So we had to measure it again with tape measure and show them. And then eventually we got the right one. So now I've got to make a smaller box because they never wanted the other cover back. So I've got another cover. But it won't be no good to you because you've got our boat name on it. Otherwise, you could have had it.
Yeah, well, there we are, yeah.
I don't know how much it
anyway,
was. Yeah.
It's lorry tarpaulin, basically.
Yeah, basically, that's it. Yeah, that's all we need. And it's just to make a lid for it. I was thinking about putting solar panels on it and doing all that. And then just thought I can't be faffed.
That's what I've done.
That's what Jeff done on his.
Yeah, I just can't be faffed. I'm gonna get a different type of solar panel than I've got now because I'm having a battery that's away from the other batteries, if you know what I mean. I'm having a separate MPPT and battery, independent of the other ones.
Yeah, I know someone else that's doing that.
Yeah, it's just so it runs definitely just off solar. I just want to see how it goes, see what I can, whether I'm getting
what you can run.
I'm getting plenty of solar now, even in the winter time. It's still getting solar.
Yeah, we're getting quite a lot.
So the longer days now, isn't it? Like going.
Yeah.
Boy.
Can you solar up, Saul?
Yeah, it's on pivot, those pivot brackets.
Yeah.
Might hit banging in a minute because wind's gone, but it keeps going.
Does it? It keeps going, knocking over.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to tie ours down in them storms.
Do you know, we didn't have to bother. It was all right.
Was it?
Yeah, we got a sheltered spot, so it wasn't too bad at all.
Yeah.
So that's about it for me. So I'm just saving my pennies up for this Recon engine. And I've got to do blacking this year, so I could do with what type of blacking paint I need, really.
I presume you've used blistering black before, as in like the, what do you call it, stuff on it before. You can do it yourself.
I didn't do it last time because we bought the boat, it was already blacked.
Yeah.
It all depends on what they've used on it, Saul. Right. If it's just a bitumen, you can use old. Yeah. We used blackjack bitumen paint on ours when we did ours, beginning of last year. But if it's been too packed underneath it, it might not stick to it. So you need to find out what's.
I'll ask because it was done by Wilton Marina. That we bought it off, so
yeah, I was from Wilton.
Yeah, I can't believe it's nearly 2 years. In July, it's 2 years we've had it.
Is it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It goes quick though, doesn't it? It does go quick, and before you know it, it's blacking time again. How many coats did you give yours, Dave?
3.
3
coats. One a day.
Standard?
Yeah.
Is that when you pay for it to be done? Because Jeff's is going in soon, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going into Wyvern.
Yeah, to be done. I presume they all meant to do 3 coats. It's just down to the prepping, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I did ours. I sanded everything back that were scratched, went back to bare metal, and got all rust bits out, and treated it and built it up. Where I'd sanded it back, I built it back up to level. So when I spent a day doing that. So it's sort of like when I painted it, there weren't divots everywhere. I tried to build it back up so it was flat.
Yeah. What divots you built it up with bitumen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just sort of gave it some extra coats.
Just kept going on with brush, dabbing bitumen into it, so it came up to a level. But I spent a day sanding it off and touching bits up before I went back up and did a full coat. It's just how I did it. Everybody does it. The bloke that pulled it out for us said I were going over the top, but that's just I wanted to do it. So
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at the epoxy and then thought, well, it's a really good idea in that. But as soon as you bang into something, you're going to go through epoxy coating. So you might as well pitch him in it.
It depends, Saul, because when we had ours first put in, we had 2-pack epoxy, but he put a primer on, like a really thick white primer, and then put that were a 2-pack epoxy primer, and then he put 2-pack epoxy blacking on top of it, and that lasted 5 years. That
Right.
and because it's that thick, it sort of like self heals. It's really good stuff if it's done right. It's really good stuff. So Natasha's saying we're doing ours first week of April at Stanley Lands. Have quoted us 170 quid for a tin of paint. Is that reasonable, or should we go elsewhere? I'd go elsewhere.
Sounds dear to me.
That blackjack that we used was 35 quid a tin from Tool Station.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Call it blackjack.
Let me have a look. I'll find out for her.
They do it at Tool Station and Screwfix.
And you reckon, is that going to be like 2 years? Go that's my brother. He needs a slap. He's going to get a slap.
That's your brother.
I'm fast.
Blackjack bitumen.
Yeah, that's it.
£25 for 5 litres.
5 litres, yeah. Yeah,
depends what 170 quid's buying you, I suppose.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Natasha, is that for them to do the blacking, or is that just for you to buy the paint off them? I don't know. I mean, that's Louise has put link to ours where our video when I were doing grinding and that. So there's that to watch. There's a couple of videos of us doing blacking. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
Just for the paint, she said.
That's just for the paint.
yeah, custom paints, and you pay a lot for them. And I don't think they're any better than black bitumen.
They just generally put the word marine on it and then
and double price. Yeah. I think it depends on.
If you Google what the paint is, you might be able to pick it up cheaper off the internet, like. But
let's try Amazon for her. Hang on.
Yeah, there's. It all depends on what you're doing with your boat as well. If you're just sitting in a marina, then it don't really matter what you put on it. If you're out cruising, I know Natasha's going out cruising in their boat after they've had it blacked, then you want a decent blacking on it because you're scraping out sides when you're mooring up, you're catching inside a boat when you're going into locks and stuff like that. So yeah, it's worth paying.
You know.
You are.
We're not bad drivers like you.
Oh, I don't know. After watching that last vlog of yours in wind, now
yeah, we did a bit of crabbing up there. It was pretty windy.
Yeah.
25 for 56 quid. Amazon.
How much?
56 quid for 25 litres, 5 gallon.
That's not bad, is it?
No.
That's all right.
So 170 quid just for the paint. Gordon Bennett.
It's got glitter in it, gold glitter.
I think it must have that.
Or gold flake.
Gold flake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's me for the month anyway. So that's what I'm up to.
Right, okay. Purple glitter. Natasha's just put on purple glitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Glenn, finally a boat owner again.
Well, it's only been 3 months. That didn't take very long. We finally managed to negotiate a deal for the first boat that Lisa liked, and obviously we'd seen quite a few. We have gone off. We have bought it blind, which I know was a bit of a brave move, but she's only little, and I've managed to negotiate a good enough deal that if she needs some welding, there's enough in it to weld. I've managed to see the base plate from the inside. And to be honest, after seeing the one we looked at, Saul, that was on this one was literally you just brushed a bit of dust off of it. You know what I mean? A bit of flaky top rust. Yeah. You weren't picking any bits out of it, and it was in exactly the same spot that I managed to get to the base plate and at the back. There was an inspection plate at the back, so I managed to get there, and it was dry as a bone as well. And considering it ain't been used or no one's been aboard it properly for 4 years. Yeah. So if any water was going to be in there from anything, then it would have been in there. Yeah. So I know a lot of stuff's not being used.
Just answer that question to my brothers about spraying blacking on.
Is it not easier to spray the blacking on?
Yeah, if you're spraying anything, paint or blacking or anything like that, you have to really thin it down. So it'll go through.
He said, is it easier to spray the blacking on?
It's easier, but it can mean there's the cons of it are the cons of it are you have to thin it down so much, so it can break down quicker.
Yeah, I think two-pack epoxy is sprayed on.
Oh, do you?
But that's a completely different kettle of fish to bitumen. I think bitumen's too thick.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it with bitumen. It'd just be that thin. It'd just run off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just wouldn't. The gun would just choke it up, wouldn't it? I think. Yeah. So, but as has got to come out the water as soon as we get it down. As soon as I can book it in. But the marina stroke boat club that we're moving on to, they've got their own pulley system. You know, the wheels.
Yeah.
We haven't got a moor in there yet, but we're going to be able to put it on the jockey wheel, like a pair of jockey wheels, and then they pull it out with a tractor.
Yeah.
So being part of the club, I think it's going to cost us 30 or 40 quid to get it pulled out.
Okay.
That's the whole beauty of being member of the club, and also they've got, because I need to repaint the roof, they've also got a polytunnel, and I think from memory it's about 25 quid a week to use the polytunnel, so it's cheap as chips.
See, now I was thinking about going over the Ribble Link and getting down to you, so I might just give you a shout.
You won't fit, mate. Maximum length for our moorings is 38 foot. Yeah, that's why we were looking for a little boat. So obviously, teal only being 30 foot, that's why I don't mind blacking it as well, because obviously it's less than half the boat that Nutshell was. So I'll be able to do it with a little 2.5 litre tin. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Louise has just said, don't you need a loop on front of boat to get it pulled out? I don't, with one of them jockey wheels and that.
Yeah.
How does that work? Where does it attach to pull the boat out?
I think they go onto the wheels are they're like train track wheels. It's on a train track.
Yeah, we still need something to hook it to the boat to pull the boat, don't you?
Yeah. I don't know how it works. I mean, I haven't seen. I know they've got a tractor. They've got a tractor which they use to pull it out, and I think the wheels on the jockey wheels that are in these like little ruts are off of some sort of forklift. They're like little solid wheels, and they must strap it on or something. They must, you know what I mean? They must strap it to the frame. It's only a slight, very very slight hill. It's got to come up.
Hold an eye on the front.
Yeah, there'll be something there. I mean, they do them all the time. So, and then literally they just pull it up onto the bank. The rails go right up onto a flat surface. You can then have it out for a week or 2 weeks, however long you need it. We're going to need to get it surveyed while it's out. So it's going to be surveyed, and then I'm going to paint. Then I'm going to do the painting myself. So I did have an interesting chat with a bloke and I presume this is out. Dave, you'd probably know the answer to this, but he said, because the divots you get on the metal,
Yeah.
the pits. He said it's like faults in the steel.
I don't think that's true. I think it's where it depends on.
Because I said to him, because it's a 92 boat, and I said, I as far as I'm aware, the steel wasn't great in the early 90s because a lot of it was recycled. And he said, it's a real hit and miss. He said it's really how the boat's been looked after, and but he said a lot of the pitting. He said it's a lot of it's down because obviously it will never get any worse. The pit should never get any worse, but I don't know.
No, I don't think so. It depends on how they've prepared the steel before they painted it.
Right.
Because if you don't shot blast them, you still when you get plate steel, it's got what they call scale on surface, and it's not like rust, but it's when they roll plate, it's an hard scale on surface thing, and that over time comes off. So if you don't shot blast it before you paint it, that scale eventually will come away from the base metal. So all your blacking comes off after that, and that does leave like little pinpricks in your steel, and especially if you're in a marina and you're hooked up to a landline, the electrolysis will find them little pits and make them deeper. Right. So it all depends on how the boat's being made, how it's been prepared, what it's been painted with.
And whether it's been sitting in
a lot of people, when they find pits, they blob them up with weld.
Yeah.
So it's not a straightforward thing. It all depends on where the materials come from. If it's come from Eastern European or China, it's not as good quality. But a lot of boat builders, a lot of suppliers supply special sheets just for boat building, and they're usually better quality.
Are they? Yeah. Well, I was told it was a Liverpool boat, and now I don't think it is a Liverpool boat after speaking to a few people, yourself included, Dave, because they don't usually make those square back ones. And also the mechanic there, as soon as he got hold of the tiller, he pulled the tiller about a bit. He goes, no, that's not a Liverpool boat. And I registered it last night on the CRT license, but it didn't come up with a manufacturer. It came up with a boat, but it didn't come up with a manufacturer.
Right.
So I don't know who made it. But to be honest with you, it's quite, after looking in a few springers and after looking in that other one, me and Saul looked in it does feel quite solid, you know what I mean? Quite a compact, solid little thing. Yeah. So, and we got on one we looked at another one up near Nottingham a couple of weeks ago. I think it was Was it a Springer? Yeah, it was a Springer. Yeah, so that didn't feel. You know, when you get on it, it's like getting on a GRP. It's like whoa!
Yeah.
It was like all over. Even though it was a little bit bigger, that was. It was top. It was a nice. It was a nice finished boat, but it was a Springer, and it had a survey, but it was 25 grand for a Springer, 32 foot or something like that, 30 foot something. It was no bigger, you know what I mean? It was 30 foot if it was 30 foot, but this one I think just feels a little bit more solid. But anyway, so she'll be coming out when I bring her down. There's a little bit of work that's being done while it's up in the marina, stuff that I could have done, but to be honest with you, I can't get up there that often, so it's better if I leave the marina to do it, and that's like a full survey on the full service on the engine, doing all the fluids. You might have to change the engine mounts if they're going. All the batteries need replacing because luckily enough it hasn't been hooked up to a lamp. There's no 240 hookup on it.
Yeah.
It's got a lead, but the lead would have just gone in the boat and he would have plugged it into where the inverter's plugged into. A bit like, you had, Jeff, on yours, but manual. Basically, you just get the lead with a socket end, a 3-pin plug, and a lead would go straight into the boat and plug in. But it's not been connected. It wasn't connected for the 4 years that it just sat there. So the batteries are completely toast. So it's only got 2 batteries, same as yours, so on it. So you got 2 in yours, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got a starter battery and a leisure battery. That's it.
Oh, you just got 2, literally. 1 leisure, 1 start.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's got 2 leisure and a start. So it's going to have. So yeah, so it's got. But to be honest with you, it's got the biggest. It's got the biggest inverter you've ever seen in your life. It's way too big for the boat. It's like, and it's a Chinese one. It's massive. It's like this. The cables on it are as thick as my middle finger. Literally, and I can't see that those 2 little batteries are going to keep that running for very long. It's a 2000
anyway, won't it?
It's what?
It'll do your air straight, does anyway.
Yeah, yeah, because obviously I need those.
Yeah,
yeah. You could borrow them when you come down, Saul.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, so I'm going to have a look at that. But they've also drilled through the firewall to fit that inverter, and they've not. It's too near the bottom. It's too near. They've drilled that too near. That would definitely come up on a survey. So I'm going to have those out, seal them up, and move them higher.
Yeah.
Because there's water in the bilge at the moment where the rainwater's got through the cruiser deck, and they're about that far away from this. The water's about that far away from the wires. So, and they shouldn't have put them that low. I don't know why they did that. The batteries are much higher than that. So I don't know who did it, but I'll change that as soon as I get it. Because at the moment we're not really going to need an inverter to bring it down because it's got a full 12-volt system on it anyway. The lights are all 12 volt. The cooker doesn't need any 240 volt. It's a Pomola water heater, so there should be no issue with that. Yeah, so, and we won't, it's got a TV in it. It's 12 volt. It's got a little 12 volt system in it. So that was the other thing. The Pomola heater. The chap said to me, they're a bit of a sod to get going if they haven't been used for a long time. So it's 4 years since it's been booted up. There's air in the system. And has anyone ever used one? Yeah, no. We have. We had one in our old boat and it was as good as gold. With this one, you have a little button on the side of it which you press and it clears the jet. It puts a pin through the jet. So you push it through. I couldn't remember it when I got it. I tried to start it the other day and I pushed the button thinking it was like a primer. But it's not. It just you meant to just press it and let it go. So, but he said if it's not been started for a while, it'll probably take me a good while to get it going. So, but once it's running, as long as I keep it going every couple of weeks or whatever, it'll be fine. So, so yeah, it should all be good. We should be. I found out something interesting about the insurance, which I'll just drop in. So we've gone with Craftshaw, and they said that I read the instruction, the terms conditions, and it said 30 years old. Now our boat's 30 years old this year, so I was like, oh shit, am I going to be covered coming down in it? Rang them up and they said no, it won't need survey until it's 31. So I'll get that year. You get the 30th year to do it. So it's actually not due a survey till next year, but it's going to have one later this year anyway. So it doesn't really matter. So it's good to know though. They rang them. They were really helpful. She said, no problem. You'll be covered. It's 30 years old. That's fine. It won't be an issue until it's 31 years old. And I think it was 140 quid, 12 months. It was actually more than Nutshell. The insurance was more than Nutshell, which was surprising. But we said it's probably because it was an older boat. But
the little boats are more expensive than the bigger boats sometimes.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird like that.
Yeah. Anyway, 140 quid. Wasn't moaning about that. That's all right. You know, expected it to be that, valued it at 25 grand, and that was fine. But yeah, I mean, I've seen it go backwards. I've seen it go forwards. So it does all it needs to do. It hadn't been started for 6 months, and it started up second go once you put a battery on it. So we should be. They're trying to get the service done because obviously it's in boat time at the end of this month. He's very laid back as the engineer. He's a nice chap, but he's a typical boat engineer, and it'll be sometime this month, and it probably be the end of the month because he's got so much on. So, but so we're pleased with it, and we'll obviously take more photos, and you'll see it on the YouTube channel as and when it appears.
So when are you planning on moving it then?
The end, hopefully the first week in April.
Right. Okay.
So it should take. We don't have to get all the way down. We've actually booked it in to Gayton for the time being. But we're actually we don't have to get, as long as we get in towards Northamptonshire. We're going to do it over a long weekend, and it says about 5 days. That's cruising 6 hours a day. So if you do a couple of extra hours because you've got a nice day and the weather's good, then, and the great thing is it's 30 foot. I'm going to be able to put it anywhere. It's going to be able to get squeezed between any two boats. Whereas before, you'd stop about 2 or 3 because you'd always be stressing, am I going to get moored? Am I going to get moored? So, so 30 foot, I can squeeze it in anywhere. So the plan is to get it to, if we can get it to Gayton in the 5 days, then brilliant. If not, we'll just get it as close as we can, then move it in the evenings or move it, when I have a day off. So so it should be down first week in April. Good. It's not too bad actually. 76 miles, 37 locks.
So what canals is that on then?
Now you're asking. I think we've got to come round on. I've got to come round onto the Coventry, and then I think we come down from Coventry towards Braunston. I think we'll come through the Watford locks and that. I don't know what bit. It'd be not far from where you went, Jeff. Up to.
We went up to Welton, didn't we?
Welton. I think
Market Harborough. That's the list.
Lisa knows where it is. I can't remember. She did tell me where it was, but all I knew is when she said 37 locks, I thought we've done that in a day before. So 37 locks is, and we did 9, didn't we, yesterday? So that's no problem. But we'll drop down. It'll drop down. Definitely the Coventry. Something to do with the Coventry Canal was involved because Tamworth is where it is now. Tamworth, just the other side of Birmingham, innit? Is it Birmingham? Yeah, it's just the other side. I think you come down as you're looking at the country, come down the right-hand side of Birmingham and then drop down into Coventry. Obviously, don't hang around in Coventry and get
it's actually a nice canal, that. As long as you don't go down into Coventry Basin, it's a bit rough down there. But like Louise says, we've wrapped round, changing pace round a tree, just moored up, put a rope round tree and stopped overnight.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. just having a little bit of an easier life with that, and then we can spin it around anywhere. So if we wanted to turn around and go, I don't think there'd be many places on the canal network where we won't be able to do that. Just swing it around at the easiest point. So so that's it really. I mean, we've got lots going on. There'll be lots to talk about. I'm sure there'll be lots of engine issue. Well, it's a little tiny. Actually, I read it again. It's not actually 20 horsepower. It's actually 15.
Is it?
It's actually it's 15 horsepower. It's only a 2-cylinder beater. So honestly, you get it under my arm, I'll be like, it's like that. You look like you could just stick. It looks like it's a tiny little thing, tiny little engine it is. But with it being a 2-cylinder, it's a little bit more poppy.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Different sound, aren't they?
It's what?
Sounds like a dumper, you mean?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so it's just a little bit more like poppy rather than, because it's not 4-cylinder like a 4-stroke motorbike. You know, that sort of noise that they make. It's like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what size engine it is, as in CCs, but I know it's little. It's a little tiny thing and a little gearbox. It's in the traditional beta dark green colour. Yeah. So that's it, really.
So long as it's matched to prop and props matched to boat, you should be all right. No problem. I don't think you'll have any problems. It's not as if you're going to try and do tidal Trent or out like that, is it?
No rivers. I'll be honest with you, I think it would struggle on the Ribble link or anything like that with that 15 horsepower. I think it might need something a bit more tasty on the back. I might have to assist it with an outboard.
Yeah.
strap an outboard to the back if I'm going to do that as backup. But apart from that, but it's all good. You know, I've got loads of jobs to do on it. You'll see it on the channel. There's solar panels to go on. There's all sorts of stuff to be done.
Good.
As and when we get it. So as and when we finally get it. But we've done all the paperwork. We've done all the deal's done. So. And
proud owner again.
Yeah.
What you been up to, Jeff? What have you got any plans?
What have we been up to? We went out last weekend or weekend before, bit of a cruise, bit of a booze cruise. Landed up at the pub and a couple of them passed out, but apart from that was all. We had a little bit of wind damage. The wind lifted the solar panel because it's on a hinge, my solar panel. So I made a box, put it on hinge so you could. That lifted it up and flipped it right over. So luckily I went down there and put that back on. Made a box for the other one. Got an oil leak or a diesel leak. I'm not sure which, to be honest. I think it's a bit of both. Because the gearbox leaks between, there's like the casing's in 2 halves and it leaks around that seal. I think the gasket's gone. But it doesn't lose a lot of oil. But every now and again, even if we don't cruise, there's this pool of oil come diesel. I wonder if it's central heating heater leaking diesel or not. I don't know. But we need to have a look at that sometime.
It's done that a few times, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's done it. It's weird because sometimes it don't do it, and it doesn't matter if you're cruising or you're not cruising. It just appears. It's weird, and it's like diesel colour, but also red, like ATF oil, like gearbox oil. But I don't know. Until I get the hoover in there and hoover it out and put something down and see where it's coming. But trouble is, I've hoovered it out before, laid cardboard down to see where it's coming from, and it won't do it while I'm there. And then when I come back to it in a few days, it's flooded again.
Yeah, and then obviously the cardboard's flooded. You can't see where it's coming from.
That's right. What else we done? I took the engine out of that burnt out generator, so I've got a spare engine now. Because my little generator caught fire, the original. You were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Just running a bit funny, then it started missing, then it's smoking a bit, and then all of a sudden, woof. But the engine's fine. It's just all the plastic round it. The tank's gone. So
it wasn't that old though, either, was it?
No, well, even a year old.
And you didn't even use it all the time. It was obviously only when you were there.
So the engine's in the bench, under the bench in the garage. So if the new one ever goes wrong, I think it's the same engine. So just swap the engine over.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be all right, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it's all right. But apart from that, I need to give it a service because when we was cruising the other last weekend or whatever, it hunts a little bit. Sometimes you're cruising along and all of a sudden the revs will pick up and then back down again. It's just like it's hunting. We don't do it all the time, and I've never done the fuel filter, so
it might be that because you get quite a bit of water in those, don't you?
Yeah. Still can't find the air filter.
I was just about to ask that question. Did you ever find air filter on
It
it?
hasn't got one. It can't have one. It's just not there.
It's very strange. I have seen it. I have seen in the
Where is it?
engine bay, and there's nowhere obvious where it should be or go.
I reckon it's between the what do you call it, heat exchanger and the rocker cover, and I reckon it's just a gauze, just like a gauze. That's all it is.
Because it's got to have air, isn't it? It's got to have air.
It's just got like a gauze, like a cattle grid on the side of it, and that's it.
Really?
Definitely no air filter there. I ain't stupid. I've looked and looked and looked.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know you know your engine. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and you'd think it would sound a little bit. You'd think it would sound a little bit. You know, like when you have no air filter on a carburetor, throaty. You'd think it would sound a bit throaty, but it don't really, does it?
Sounds lovely. It's not lovely little engine.
Yeah.
Cannot find it.
Normally,
everybody
is it, Jeff?
on the pictures I've seen, they've got the big saucepan air filter on the top. Nah, I ain't got
that. It's Isuzu, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Isuzu. So, never mind.
You
fix it.
You going this weekend down there? Or
I'll go on it this weekend. I want to try and take that other solar panel back with that new box I made.
Yeah.
Try and put that back on the roof.
So, did it break your solar panel when it flips over?
No, it just, because it's on hinge, it just lifted it and flipped it right over on top of the other one. Because the other one was just rested on the roof. So, I put it back to so the box is shut, and I put a cable tie for it this time, so it can't lift up. And then the little one I bought back here and made a box for it. Now it sits in the box rather than the big one sits on top. This one actually sits in it. And then all I have to do, I can lift it up and tilt it and wedge it up. If I want to tilt it, I'll just lift it up, put a bit of wood under it, and that'll hold it in place. And then when we're not there, just drop it inside the box.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
I've seen the box. I've seen the box. It's very.
You might be able to see actually. Hang on, I'll show you a picture.
Yeah, he's done a very good job with the box. It's very. You just use scrap wood as well, don't you, mate?
Pallet wood. Hang on.
Pallet wood, yeah.
Pallet wood.
And everybody leans forward.
It's a little. There you go.
So,
It actually sits in the box.
Right.
There's a lip. There's a lip in there.
Yeah, it sits on a lip, but then I'll just waste oil. Covered the wood in waste oil.
Yeah, you see that comment, Jeff? That's about your engine, mate.
There's no air. There you go.
Just the goes as you described.
That's it. Spot on. We're right.
So it's an Isuzu 35. It's the 45 that has an air filter.
There you go.
No air filter.
No air filter. That's why you can't find it, Jeff.
Yeah, I told you there weren't one. All I've got to do now is get the numbers off the filter, or off the fuel filter, the oil filter, and then I'll go to car factors and get them to match them so I can get that ones. Not buying Isuzu ones again.
What's that for? Filters?
Oil filter, fuel filters. You get the numbers. If you get the numbers off your filters and go to a car factors, they can marry the numbers up and cross-reference it to a different make.
If you put those numbers into eBay, mate, it will cross-reference for you anyway. A lot of people put those in the description, and you'll come up with.
The typical my luck. Where are the numbers? Round the back of the filters.
Yeah.
It's always the way. What I should have done is took some pictures of the filters I put on it.
Yeah, because they were the same as mine. Mine had Perkins oil filter in it, and took the reference number, put it on eBay, and I came up with there was about 5 different.
Yeah, Crosslands and all sorts of people.
Yeah, it was Crosslands, and the other one began with
Line.
Yeah, there was another one that came with an M. I can't remember. Do you know what? When I cleared the boat out, I just found. I was looking through some stuff today at the storage unit. I found I took the bloody oil filter, and I bought a spare oil filter, and I've taken it with me.
Oh, yeah. I know.
There's a website called Just Filters, and if you put the name of the engine and the size of the engine, it comes up. It tells you what filters you need and gives you the best place to buy them from.
Oh, I see. That's useful.
Yeah. Mate of mine showed it, mate. I'm sure it's Just Filters or something like that. That might be something to look at.
Yeah. So wait till the weather's a bit warmer first.
Yeah. Don't want any of that cold finger.
No. I had it again today doing bloody curtain up on the lorry. Bloody. I suffer with cold finger, it goes white.
It goes white and it really hurts. We were out at the fence picking this van up and it was bloody freezing.
Yeah, it wasn't that cold really, but my finger was.
Yeah, the wind's coming. It was quite cold. Wind's coming across the fields, mate. Well, the flat land. And it was wet and cold, I think, wasn't it? It was a bit rainy. Huh?
And lying on the floor.
Yeah, no, I didn't lay on the floor. Jeff did the laying on the floor. Yeah, well, the thing is, Jeff, you're the one that had to tow it, so I thought I let Jeff do that bit because he then knows that it's attached properly.
It didn't go anywhere, did it?
Yeah, and it didn't come off. We didn't lose it, so
it's fine. So yeah, that's basically what I've been up to. I've been doing things on the house, of course, because this is an ongoing project as well. But we'll get there.
Good. Keep him busy then.
Oh, always busy, man. Always. What about yourself
then? Yeah. So moving on to narrowboat changing pace. I've just fitted a huge inverter. I know Glenn were talking about how big his inverter is on his new boat. Well, this bloody inverter that I fitted at weekend is massive. We bought a Victron Phoenix inverter, and when it came, the size of the box, I thought,
massive.
That can't be an inverter in there. It's huge. It was about 1.5 foot square and about 3 foot high, this box. And I could only just lift it up. It was massive. So I thought, well, there's got to be a lot of packing in this. There weren't. this inverter is huge. I mean, it's 3 kilowatt Victron.
How much do you reckon it weighs, Dave?
Pardon?
How much do you reckon it weighs?
Oh, Christ, it must be 45 kilos.
Oh, really? You have to move some ballast around.
I could just lift it up. It weighs more than a bag of coal, so I'd say 35 kilos at least.
And it's just an inverter as well, isn't it? It's just an inverter.
Just an inverter. It's not an inverter charger. So I've got a separate charger. I didn't want an inverter charger. Plus, they were like twice the cost of this inverter as well. So that made me mind up anyway. So I fitted that this weekend.
Tell everyone what you had to lose to fit that.
Well, we've got a set of stairs that, as you're going off at Cruiser Stern, I had some steps made, so they all tilt up and there's all storage in them. And bottom one, there's a drawer that pulls out, and there's a void behind that. And I thought that's an ideal place for this inverter. It's too big to go in there. It wouldn't go in. But I didn't know this, and so I measured front battery to where I was going to put it. Had cables made up to the right length and everything. Got it back to boat Friday. Took it out of box, and it just wouldn't physically fit in the space. And I wouldn't have been able to get to connections to do it anyway if it had gone in. So I've got a cupboard outside of that with 4 drawers in it. So I've had to sacrifice 4 drawers and put it in the back of this cupboard. And it only just fits.
It's big. It's big. I've seen a
big.
picture of it.
And when I'm working it back, it's got a bracket that you screw onto the back of the cupboard, and you'll sort of like lift it in and drop it on to locate it. It's that heavy that I couldn't get in the cupboard to actually lift it up to drop on the bracket. I just couldn't physically get in. I was like contortionist on Saturday morning trying to fit this thing. And I did it by luck and brute force, really. I managed to get it up in air, slide it up back and shove it on till it hooked on. And then managed to sort of like locate it properly. But yeah, a couple of hours job, what I thought were going to be a couple of hours job, turned into a 6.5 hour job. I couldn't get cables through bulkhead to batteries because there were 50 mil square cables for it.
That's massive.
Massive cables. And it recommends that you have 2 of them, two live and 2 negative.
Really? Shit.
Yeah. And yeah.
It's 3,000 watt or amp or what, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 kilowatt inverter.
3 kilowatt.
But the best thing about it is once I got it all up and connected it all up, all the other inverters, we've had a little box that you remote control switch it on. This, you have an app on your phone, a Bluetooth, and it connects to it and it tells you how much power you're using, and you can switch it off and you can reprogram it and all sorts from your phone. It's brilliant. it's a right bit of kit. So
yeah, Louise says she loves these. We you know when she's using her hair straighteners then.
You've seen Louisa's head. Do you think she uses straighteners?
No.
But so yeah, that's sort of like solved us electrical problems. We run washing machine as soon as I fitted it and got it working, checked that it were all right, put engine on, and it run washing machine and it never even murmured. So we're quite happy with that. So
it's quite dear, wasn't it? But
you are sorry.
Quite dear, wasn't it? It was quite dear, wasn't it?
It weren't far off £1,000.
Jesus Christ.
Trev's just put, I have a 4 kilowatt inverter and it's nothing like that size. Yeah, I mean, Louise said to me when I got it back, she says, you look at measurements when you bought it. And I thought, no, I didn't, because I never envisaged it being any bigger than, like a couple of foot. No, it completely flummoxed me, that one. But it is what it is. I mean, it's got a 5-year guarantee on it, 5-year warranty, and we've been going through cheaper inverters every 18 months, 2 years. So the money I've spent on this with 5-year warranty, hopefully it'll pay for itself in 5 years that we have it. So that's what I'm hoping anyway. I've still got a list of jobs as long as my arm to do, but at the moment I'm just firefighting. People turned up on Sunday at boat, so I couldn't get any work done. Made us go boating and go to pub, so that were another day of my weekend gone. But No, it was great to see Lisa and Glenn yesterday. It was really enjoyable, and
Got you through those locks a bit quicker, mate.
it's amazing how much quicker you can get through a lock when there's two of you working lock.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only narrow locks as well, aren't they? I mean, they were light as feather, them lock gates, compared to
they were.
bigger ones. So, but yeah, we had a good day yesterday, and hopefully now I can get on to some jobs that sort of like have been taking a back seat because we've had, as you know, we've had a bad run with breakdowns and things breaking on boats. So I've got window frames to sort out. I've had some corners made. One of the blokes at work made me some corners, so I can do that. And just other bits and pieces to do really. So Trev's is a How do you pronounce that?
I've lost you for a second. Hang on a second. I'm just trying to get you back. I can't see where you've gone.
Yeah, it's £129 though, Dave.
Yeah. I mean, cheapest one that I could find were a Synergy one. That was 330 quid. So I don't know where Trev's got. I don't know where he got that from, but Lois has mentioned that I've still got problems with my boiler. It's working, but when you put it on, the expansion tank fills up and overflows, and it's no expansion tank isn't big enough to cope with expansion of fluid in system, and it just boils over. And then when it cools down, you'd have to refill it, and then when you put it on again, it boils over, and it's weird. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Don't know what I'm going to do with that.
Is that not a water pressure issue?
No, it's not under pressure. It's not a pressurized system. It's just like an expansion tank on your engine in car. When water gets warm, it expands and fills up.
You put another tank next to it and put a pipe between the two.
There's no room, Jeff. It's
now you've got an inverter in the way.
Yeah, the inverter's bigger than boiler. I'm gonna have to have a think about it. One of the guys at work is into pneumatics and hydraulics and stuff. I'm gonna see if he can come up with anything that I can sort of like jury rig to make it, because the boiler's brand new. You just can't have boiling water spilling about all over the place. We can't put no underneath it.
Can you turn the heat down? Is it too hot, do you think? Do you think it's set too hot?
It don't matter, Jeff. It don't matter, Glenn. When it's got a dial on it from 1 to 7. When you turn it, you can put it on 4, and it still eats it up too much.
I've got an idea. We had this sort of problem at our house, and what you do, I put a bypass pipe on it with a valve, so it didn't go up to the tank; it circulated it. You put a pipe between the return and the feed, and put a valve on it, and you regulate how much water passes through that, and then it stops it.
Right. I might have to have a look at that.
Yeah, just like a normal valve. You just put it between the pipes and you just ease it off and on until it stops.
Right.
Between the which pipes?
Where it circulates, then it goes in like a circle.
Yeah, in and out, yeah.
So it's like a bypass. So you just ease it on and off until it stops it. So it circulates rather than going into your tank and coming back. It circulates it.
Right. So you just do it between the two pipes that come in and out.
You have a regulator valve, just like an on-off valve, and you just screw it in or out, let some more.
And just open and shut, a bit like a tap.
Yeah, until it stops. So I had that when I
That's
put the central heating in my house up north. I had that boiling water, bubbling away. It was throwing it out the overflow at the top of the house. And my plumber mate said, put this pipe in, copper pipe with a valve, and just screw it in until it stops. Screw it out, whatever. And he did it. No problem. Well,
There you
try
go.
that.
Yeah, might have to have a go at that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be too bad, would it?
Like
Put a couple of teeth in.
Adventure says, just run it off the heat off your inverter.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, when we first put washing machine on, Louise was watching washing machine, making sure that were running all right, and I was watching inverter, and I kept putting my hands on cables, you know, to make sure that they weren't getting hot and that, but it never flinched, this inverter. I don't even think fans come on, cooling fans on it. It was just, so I'm well chuffed with that. I think for once, spending some money might have been worthwhile.
That's not like
Fingers
you,
crossed.
I know it's
Yeah,
not
well,
like me. I know that is not like me at all. But yeah, I must say I'm impressed with it.
The thing is, because you live abroad as well, mate, it's just not worth.
Yeah.
You know, you need that, and obviously because you're not always there during the week, and if Louise has issues with a sort of a cheaper, inferior one, it's always a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? So
Yeah.
So at least, you know, brand new one, decent make.
Yeah.
You can, it should be all right. So,
yeah, it's like you say, it's peace of mind, isn't it? It is peace of mind. We have got a little 800 watt inverter as a backup that, you know, will run laptop and charge phones and stuff like that. But when you're living on boat, you need it to work and you need it to be. That's one of the reasons we had new engine in. When I'm at work and Louise is on board, I need to know that she can just go to key, engine's going to start up every time. Need to know that when she needs that inverter for whatever, whether it's to run toaster, microwave, or washing machine or whatever, that it's going to work. So,
yeah.
What's that? What's that? Natasha's put, can you run a copper pipe to us for some hot water? That'd be a long copper pipe, that, Natasha.
Yeah.
About 110 mile of it.
Yeah. But.
So yeah, that's we've done a little bit of cruising this month, not too much, and like I said, lots of little jobs to do, but I'm now happy that the inverter's sorted. I'm now happy that we're moving forward and I can get to some other jobs rather than firefighting, ticking some jobs off my list.
Yeah. So. That's good.
Yeah.
I was going to say hello to Kat. I saw Kat 69 was on there. Somebody said hello, Glenn. So hi, Kat. Just so I say hello. Just saw the name pop up.
Where is it?
There.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think Kat watches our channel. I saw Louise put that we finally reached 3,000.
Yeah.
3,000 subscribers yesterday.
Extra 10p a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to get rid of all those Gmail accounts. So God Almighty,
Yeah.
got thousands of them.
Thousands of them.
Gmail accounts. Yeah. No, it's been good. It's taken us ages. It's been the longest from 2000 to 3000. Seems to have been a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's taken absolutely ages, but we're there.
You're there. All right. So we've been on just over an hour. I think unless anybody's got anything they want to share, we'll wrap it up for this month.
Cool.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming on and viewing, commenting, and for you guys joining me again. And until next month, we'll say good night. See ya.
See you later. Cheers.
Bye.
See ya.